Hello guys, welcome back. It's your boy Match Trades and we're back again with another video. So guys, if this is your first time coming across this channel, coming across my channel, kindly support your boy by clicking on the subscription button and turning on the notification bell so that each time I post content like this, you'll be the first. And click on the like button so that YouTube can recommend this video to many others to learn from. Alright. Now in today's video, we're going to dive into pure MSNR for mobile users only. Now in this video or in today's video, we're going to talk about the time frames you need to pay attention to. All right, the directional time frame and the entry time frame. The directional time frame and the entry time frame you need when trading SNR. Now, first of all, when trading SNR, you need to understand you need to understand the classic support and the classic resistance, which I earlier explained in my previous video. Now, at the course of this playlist, guys, we're going to talk about classic support. We're going to talk about classic resistance. We're going to talk about OCL. We're going to talk about storyline. We are also going to talk about directional bias, and we're going to talk about Quasimodo buy, Quasimodo sell, Apex buy, Apex sell, and the rest of them, what have you, right? So now I want us to pay attention to what the time frames for direction. Now, this time frame for direction matters depending on the type of trader you are. Now, we are paying attention to the monthly, the weekly, and the daily. When trading S&R, you only pay attention to the monthly, to the weekly, and the daily time frame. Now, for your entry falls all the way down to the 4 hours and the 1 hour. I know you might be asking yourself, why not drop into the 5 minutes and the 15 minutes to take your trades? Now, in this particular concept, your entry falls basically on the 4 hours and the 1 hour. If there has to be refinement, then we can further drop into the 15 minutes and the 30 minutes time frame to further refine our zone. All right, what you need to pay attention is a zone on the higher time frame, know your directional bias, a zone on the higher time frame, and where to buy or sell from. All right. Now, for GBP/USD, let's pay attention to this. This is on the weekly time frame. Okay, for direction, if we were to pay attention to the direction of the market, if you look at this closely, you would agree with me that the market seems to what? It seems to be in a consolidating phase, right? It seems to be respecting this particular zone. Okay, but then how do you identify the next move that the market is going to make in the weekly time frame? Now, for the weekly time frame, you need to understand what our classic support and classic resistance is. So guys, how do you identify a classic support? How to identify a classic support is when you see an engulfing candle. Let's say, for instance, the bullish engulfing candle, how it looks like. When you see the bullish engulfing candle, you see two candles sitting at the same point, open and close, sitting at the same point. That area is your classic support area. Just as you can see around this point, we have the open right here and the close of this candle, and we have the open of this candle and the close of this candle. Now, the close and the open of this candle, because they are sitting at the same point, that area is your classic support. Now, when you see this particular area on your higher time frame, such as the monthly or the weekly or the daily, that point is an area of interest. This point here is an area of interest. Now, what do? What you normally would expect when it comes to S&R is that price comes over at this point and do what? And bounces off this zone, right? What does price do when it gets to the support zone? It's either what? It either bounces off the zone or it breaks out of the zone. Now, for the sake of this video, I am only going to focus on classic support and classic resistance, what price does when it gets to that point, right? We're expecting price to bounce off from the classic support, right? Now, for your classic resistance, you need to see what? You need to see a bearish engulfing pattern. A bearish engulfing pattern right where? Right on your monthly or weekly or daily time frame. Okay. Now, what happens when price gets to your resistance? We expect price to do what? To bounce off the resistance zone, right? Create liquidity, bounce off the resistance zone to the downside. Okay, that is what we expect to happen on or right at our resistance, right? Sorry, right at our resistance. Now, that means using this, we can be able to identify the directional bias for the month, for the week, or probably for the day. Okay, mind you, we are going to talk about other concepts regarding S and R, right? Now, coming down to this. Now, let's pay attention to where the engulfing candle is, all right? If you pay attention to this, you will see that we have an engulfing candle. We have a bullish engulfing candle around here. Now, one more thing you need to know is that when it comes to line charts, the classic support, which is this, is in form of a V shape, while the classic resistance, which is this, is in form of A shape, right? The classic support is in form of V shape, while the classic resistance is in form of A shape when it comes to what? When it comes to line chart. Now, looking at this point, let's identify these zones on the weekly, all right? Let's identify these zones on the weekly. Now we have this particular area here as what? As a classic support zone, right? And we have this area here as a classic support zone. Now, I need you to not pay attention to what happened right here, okay? To not pay attention to what happened right here because of spread and slippage of brokers, right? Now, even though this engulfing ends sitting at the same point, by the course of this video, I will still explain what it means, right? Now, if we move to our line chart, let's switch to the line chart. If you move to your line chart, you will obviously see that this point here is what? This area here is our V shape, which means at this point, this is our classic what? This is our classic support zone. Now, because this area is our classic support zone, all you need to do is wait for price to reject that area. If price rejects this area and closes above this zone, then we are ready for what? The next move, which is what? Which is towards the upside, guys. Which is towards the upside. Now, as you can see, price has done what? Price have just rejected this particular support zone, and what? We are expecting price to do what? Rally all the way to the upside. Now, this is how you identify the direction using SNR, the next move using SNR. This is for the weekly. I'll show you guys in the next video how to identify daily bias or daily direction or directional bias in my next video. I'll see you guys. Stay tuned.